The process of making Jagged Little Pill was among the most intense experiences of my life. And we kept saying we want to capture lightning in a bottle. And so there was something about the intensity of the process where we almost felt like there was no tomorrow.
Between 20 minutes and 35 minutes or so, while I was in the middle of writing All I Really Want with Glenn, I was literally in my sweatpants. And they said, you know, go, Siri at Maverick would love to meet with you.
They put on a song called Perfect, and I would say about 15 seconds into the song, that was it. I knew that I had to work with her.
It was the night of my 21st birthday. We played the Dragonfly in LA, and we'd played Luna Park the night before we were about to embark upon a club tour around America.
Excited to have with us tonight one of the hottest up-and-coming acts in new music today. And less than 2 weeks, she has the most requested song in the rock community. She's got a buzz clip on MTV, and tonight she's kicking off her club tour here in Madison at the Club to Watch. Let's give it up for Alanis Morissette.
Time currently is 5:36 a.m.
And have you been up all night?
I have indeed been up all night.
I struck a chord. We struck a chord. We struck a chord.
The subsequent success of this record, there was absolutely no way to gauge it. Our threshold was if there were 1 million people who bought this record, we would be wildly successful.
I'd had a model version of this kind of external success as a teenager in Canada, so I had cut my teeth a little bit in order to be somewhat prepared for that. But what ensued is not something that I could be prepared for in any way. There was a huge grief that came along with my sort of losing my anonymity in that sense. And I remember thinking at one point, you know, if this is what it's going to be like for the rest of my life, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this.
I want to go home.
Spent 6 months putting together I remember wanting to step away from the mayhem that was all that Jagged Little Pill had brought with it, but I was still craving the act of writing. So I'd seen a screening of City of Angels, and they had asked me if I was interested in writing the song for the movie. I went home and wrote a song from my own perspective as well as the lead character's perspective in the movie, combined in about 15 minutes in my living room.
But you're not allowed. You're uninvited, unfortunate.
My trip to India served as a way for me to step off the radar and the treadmill in a way that was very poignant and rejuvenating for me.
Thank you, India.
Upon my return, I went to Cuba. There was a music school that we visited, and I just started playing piano and just kind of stream of consciousness writing in this back schoolroom. And that was a turning point for me because I'd hated music after Jagged Little Pill. I couldn't even stand listening to it. Anything noisy was really hard for me. I was just a sensitive little soul thrust into a very noisy world, you know? And so playing music in Cuba that day really inspired me to go back to LA and start writing Supposed in the audience and realizing that I was in a privileged position to be able to offer comfort and support to them on their personal journeys. And my focus really shifted toward being of service in that way. I remember distinctly going to my friend Tim Thorney's studio in Toronto.
We caught up, talked about it. She said, well, I don't really want to do this anymore.
And everyone else's response to my having said that was, well, you have to. You're going to be letting so many people down and fill in the blank.
And I went, well, don't. You know, why, you know, you don't have to.
And that was his response. And I felt so relieved in hearing that. And I wound up writing a song called Heart of the House, which is on Supposed that night.
It was a neat way to restart thinking about, once you've had a really big success, I think that you have to reignite your life.
This record coming out mixed with, you know, the impossible expectation of it, you know, being compared in whatever ways to Jagged Little Pill itself. And all of that was just a recipe for disappointment in whomever had the expectation. No matter how much I tried to keep that expectation at bay, there was only so much I could do because energetically there were so many people with different expectations. So I kept my nose to the ground, and Glenn and I wound up writing a record that I'm incredibly proud of, both artistically and the fact that it was written in the face of that much pressure.
I showed her like this early cut of Chasing Amy I'd put together and whatnot, and tried to recruit her to be in Dogma as the lead.
I remember having read the script for Dogma that Kevin had sent to me and being utterly blown away by that story and his writing prowess.
She called me and she was just like, hey, I just got back from India. So she said, I'm feeling spiritually rested and reinvigorated and would love to come out and play. If there's anything left on the movie, I'm sure you gave away the leading role by now, but if there's anything left, I would totally love to come out and play. And I said, well, there's one very small but crucial role left in the flick that if you've got the time, it'd be great to have you come do. And that was when we had her come out and play God. We were lucky enough to get Alanis to do a song for Dogma. And she did this wonderful track called Still, which I remember I was up in New York and popped by her hotel. She was like, hey, I got something. I think I got a song for the movie. And she plays me this rough click track version of this song that she's written, which is essentially written in God's voice.
I see you, averting your glances. I see you, cheering on the war. I see you, ignoring your children, and I love you still. And I love you still.
I welled up, I believe, when she played it for me. So we knew we were onto something. Well, I knew she was onto something. We weren't on dick. She wrote it. I just listened to it and said, one of those.
I was invited to sing on a CD entitled The Prayer Cycle that Jonathan Elias was putting together. Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan died after he did the vocal on The Prayer Cycle, and they invited me in to sing with his vocal posthumously to finish the song. It was a true honor to sing on the track with Nusrat's voice, and I felt so flattered that they invited me in to put my vocal on the track to finish it. It was important to Jonathan Elias to have as much of an international element to the record as possible, so I wrote the melody and the lyrics to both of the tracks I participated on in both my mom and my dad's native tongues, Hungarian and French, respectively. MTV Unplugged on an artistic level was an incredibly fulfilling time. It was so exciting to be able to translate these songs that I'd been singing in a plugged-in form on tour and breaking them down into their acoustic form.
Please be the jerk of my knee, I fit you always. You finish my sentences, I think I love you. What is your name again? No matter. I'm guessing your thoughts again correctly. And I love the way you press my buttons. So much sometimes I could strangle you. Papa, love me, you're a princess, so she will find loving princess familiar. Papa, cry for your princess, so she will find gentle princess familiar. La 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 la. always be just like mine.
It's been my privilege to travel to some incredible places around the planet, all over the Middle East. I did a short documentary there, and it was entitled One, and it was really about delving as far as we possibly could in the small amount of time that we had into each culture that we visited. And we had a young ambassador kind of take me around the city.
It's really important for me to meet Alanis because I've never actually interacted with someone who means so much to me. And if I do, it's gonna be like a once-in-a-lifetime feeling that I don't want to forget.
My motivation for going on it was to go to countries where they didn't necessarily have a ton of artists going through the areas. And the best part of this tour was getting to know the ambassadors in each city, people that I met through the internet. They wrote an essay and shared their sort of perspective on their own cities and their own life, and they told me all about their lives. And that was actually the best part of the whole tour for me, was meeting these people in each of the different cities.
I had no choice but to hear you. You stayed in your case time and again.
You can make a wish?
Yeah.
What would your wish be?
If you asked me like 2 months ago, I'd say meeting Alanis.
And what would your wish be today?
Peace.
Are you Catholic?
It's difficult.
Yes, it is, isn't it?
No,
This is a this is
How are you?
You're so great.
Ah, thank you. You're so wet.
Thank you, Alanis, for the... I don't know what word to explain it. It was the greatest day of my life. A great, great concert. Thank you so much.
It's time to be distracting myself from everything but writing lyrics. Because it's hard to write lyrics. It's scary. You gotta look in. You gotta go in. And that's scary. Writing Under Rug Swept was my first foray into producing alone formally and writing alone. And a lot of the impetus and the intention behind doing it alone as such was to prove to myself in a very kind of feminist movement way that I could do it.
history's reinvented. And something or other. What part of our history's reinvented and under upswept? What part of your memory is so selective and tends to forget?
Okay, guys. Demo's cool, and you can conclude.
Alanis Morissette.
I just want to basically accept this on behalf of the people in this category with me, and in particular, female producers. There's been a growth and a surgence of female producers in this industry over the last couple of decades, and I salute you, and I'm privileged to be part of that evolution.
During the writing of Under Rug Swept, I wound up writing 24 songs. So there were a lot of songs left over when Under Rug Swept was finished. So we wound up putting them on a record called Feast on Scraps, which was included in the Feast on Scraps DVD, which was a documentary of the tour that we were on for Under Rug Swept.
You've been my golden best friend. Now with post-demise at hand, I can't go to you for consolation, 'cause we're off limits during this transition. This grief overwhelms me. It burns in my stomach.
Without the pickup?
Yeah.
Okay, right there.
So it would be on the word grief. This
Right.
grief.
This grief overwhelms me. It burns in my stomach, and I can't stop bumping into things. I thought we'd be.
Are we gonna come in right there?
Yeah.
Okay, that'll
That's
work.
perfect.
I thought we'd be simple together. I thought we'd be happy together. Thought we'd be limitless together.
It's just near and dear to my heart, even though they were never formally released as singles. Whenever I hear songs like that, I just choke up.
You and me have made it harder for the other. We forget how hard separatism has been. And you and me, we can help change their minds together. 'Cause you and me in alignment until the end. Sister, blister, we fight to please the brothers. We think their acceptance is how we begin. They're happy with climbing over each other to beg the club of boys to let us in. Sister, blister. But that's why birds do it, bees do it.
Erwin Winkler, who directed The Lovely, as well as Rob Cowan and Charles Winkler, the producers of the movie, the four of us sat together and they invited me to choose one of the Cole Porter songs to perform in the film.
And trees do it, bees do it, even overeducated fleas do it. Let's do it, let's fall in love.
I was flattered and excited at the idea of doing that, and I had mentioned to them in passing that I also had a background in dance, and they called me up and invited me to dance in this cameo that I did in their movie. Weeks prior to the shoot, I remember having said to myself that I really wanted to dance again, that I missed it terribly. So to be able to be singing, acting, and dancing fulfilled my Judy Garland fantasies.
Let's do it. Let's fall in love.
You have like completely changed your look.
Yeah.
Completely. Like
It feels good.
I know, in lots. Like I have an image of you, like, you know.
Right.
And now it's like, oh, who is this person?
It was a symbolic way for me to express my not wanting to be confined by my hair or a relationship or by how others perceive me. I worked on So-Called Chaos with John Shanks and Tim Thorney. We kind of triangle produced that record, and every song that I've ever written is really just a snapshot of that period of time in my life. I'm enjoying the thought of post So-Called Chaos focusing on being an artist, you know, and letting that be the focus and managing my time a lot better. Sounds really boring and unsexy, but the better I manage my time, the better my life is. And for an artist anyway, I really do believe that time management is key. I've been taught from a young age to give back and to contribute and to show gratitude for all the many gifts that I've been given by reciprocating in whatever way that I could. It's been a theme that's continued throughout my whole life of aspiring to receive as gracefully as possible and to balance that out with sharing what it is that I have. I return pretty consistently to similar causes, the top three being any women's issues, everything from body image, eating disorder issues to women's rights around the planet. Arts programs, supporting artists in whatever way I can, everything from speaking to Congress to wanting to support instruments being bought and paid for in schools around North America in particular. Anything to do with the environment. I've been very passionate about environmental issues for a very long time. I've had a conflicted experience with the whole concept of winning the awards because on one hand, it was good for me to take in the acknowledgement. And on the other hand, I've never really believed in competition within art. It's like someone saying yellow is better than green or red is better than blue. It's such a subjective thing that putting artists up against each other and having one person win seemed anathema to what art meant to me. And the part of it that connotates betterness, not that into it. I mean, I think I'm awesome, but I don't think I'm the only awesome one. Well, maybe I am. Next question. My Grammys are in storage, and I just saw them for the first time ever. But it was really cool to see them. They looked lovely. Dust only with a soft cloth. If necessary, wipe with a damp cloth, but not frequently. And the part of them that expresses the acknowledgement and the honoring is just really sweet to see that, because it has been my personal growth challenge to take that in.
Is that heavy?
Best female rock vocal performance.
Best female rock vocal. Cool. ...2005 was coming around. It was to be the 10-year anniversary of Jagged Little Pill having been released.
Oh, hi. Good to see you.
Just seeing Glenn again and being in this house again and being in the studio again was really touching.
I don't want to be the filler if the void is solely yours.
My intention was to honor Jagged Little Pill in a way that I'd never done, to tip the hat to it, but not imply in any way that that was sort of the pinnacle for me as an artist. It may have been a pinnacle and a real phenomenon in terms of external success and how it was perceived, and that is undeniable, and I won't argue with that. However, it was one milestone among many along the path of my evolution as an artist. So I thought one of the best ways to do that was to re-record the whole record rather than just simply reissuing it, and allow the evolution that these songs have experienced over the last 10 years to be shown on tape, and to have a really great excuse to reconnect with Glenn again.
Past 6 while I already know you'd find somewhere to sneak me in that hole. My name.
It's as though we just picked up where we left off. I mean, kind of like they say, you never forget how to ride a bike. Somehow, the natural chemistry and the natural kind of division of labor fell right into place.
But it seems not to so much easier not to. And what goes around never comes around to you. To you. To you. and you're like Alanis Kennedy, and you're really a million years old. You can't fool me. They'll throw opinions like rocks in riots, and they'll stumble around like hypocrites. And is it just me, or is it dark in here? You may never be or have a husband. You may never have and hold a child. You will learn to lose everything. We are temporary arrangements. Oh, ya-da-da, ya-da-da. Oh, ya-da-da, ya-da-da. And you're like Alanis, no one. And they laughed at you as you packed all of your things. And they wonder why you're frustrated. And they wonder why you're so angry. And is it just me, or are you fed God bless you in your travels, in your conquests and queries.